One other way that you can clip out parts of an image or create the illusion of transparency in a more complex way is through what's called a track matte. So the end result can be very similar to a mask, but track mattes can cut out more complicated patterns like, say, text or the alpha channel of a graphic. So I've created this layer called masks, and it happens to be a text layer. And I'm going to use that as a track matte to cut out the background that is this yellow shape so that you can see what's behind it. Now I'm going to have this blue layer kind of stacked up next to it as well. And I'm just going to change the color of my text so that it's a little bit more clear what's actually happening, because right now it's a little too close to that background. So let's grab something kind of, a little obnoxious. There you go. So track mattes is an option that's a little bit hidden, and it's going to be related to blend modes, which we'll talk about in a different video. But there is this somewhat hidden menu in After Effects, and it's down in your timeline, and it's this accessed through this switch button that says toggle switches and modes. And what that does is it flips your interface between switches, which are like, say, things that control 3D or motion blur or quality and sampling, and it switches that portion of your menu to something that controls track mattes and blending modes. So I've clicked that button so that way this word TRKMAT stands for track matte is visible. And what it allows me to do is it allows me to use a layer such as this text to cut out portions of another layer, which happens to be this yellow layer. Now, right at this moment, it says that I don't have a track matte applied to the yellow layer. I can change this to a few different types of the layer that is immediately above it. Now, this is an important detail about track mattes. They only work and they only can be applied using the layer immediately below another. So this yellow layer, for example, if I had, say, my blue mask above my text layer, and I wanted that blue shape to cut out of that yellow one, I couldn't do it with a track matte. I'm only allowed to select the layer immediately above it, which happens to be this text layer that says masks. So if I choose alpha matte masks, you can see that the text layer is clipping out the yellow solid and almost doing like that intersect operation. So that way, anywhere the yellow solid was and anywhere the text layer was, it's now clipping that out. So if I increase the size of my yellow solid, let's go ahead and get rid of that mask because we don't need that. But if I increase the size of this yellow solid, I should see the rest of that track matte apply, right? So let's go ahead and turn that off and turn this one back on and turn that off so you can see what it looks like. So I've increased the size of my yellow shape so that way you can get the whole word, the whole text there. So track mattes are really pretty great. It's just using the layer immediately above another layer to cut out or to clip portions of that bottommost layer. Now you can use an alpha inverted matte as well. So that's going to leave the text layer hollow and then leave the other layer alone. And I think this one's pretty attractive. So that way you can get into lots of like nice, kind of juxtaposition. If, for example, this was like a kind of a marquee of sorts, let's get in there and change this yellow. Ooh, had a nice After Effects crash. It seems. Sorry about that. If we had this yellow layer like moved up top, let's say it was this bar graphic and the word masks was a logo, we could give the illusion of like a blue scan line going behind all of this, creating that effect. Or if we had multiple layers, we could have multiple colors back there. But you can create some really nice, really fancy effects with track mattes. So that's the alpha inverted mask. There's also the Luma mask, and there's the inverted Luma mask, which is based on the lumens values. I use alpha matte and inverted matte very often. Now, a few other things you'll note, or that I'll explain before we move on. When you set a track matte, it is going to make the track itself hidden. Now you can turn it on and off, but it's going to make that hidden. That needs to stay in your After Effects project. If you delete it or move it, say I move this down, it's going to break that operation. So it has to stay in this kind of position 1 and position 2 arrangement. Keep that in mind. You can click this on and off to see the transparency on that mask, so you can kind of toggle that as well. And you can kind of change these really at any time you like, turning them on and off. So track mats are really great. I hope you'll explore them and see what kind of compound effects you can get.